But I never really got into Tupac until I turned like 14, 15 and really understood what he was really talking about. And it was at that point that I was like, yo, something special, you know, about him. And I felt like this is the impact that I want to have.
July 12th, 2020 would be one of the most infamous days in the rap scene. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion's careers would end up being impacted in the biggest ways possible. The ways the situation turned out after all this time is definitely one of the most confusing situations to figure out and hasn't even been fully explained yet. But before we get into that messy mess, we must get into the suspect at hand and how their past actions could even bring them to do something like this in the first place. In this video, we will be going through the past of Tory Lanez to figure out what kind of person he is and what led him to this. Now, before I begin, I used to be a Tory Lanez fan, and I obviously don't really support him anymore due to this situation and how he treated it. You know, the way he milked it and shifted the blame towards others, just it felt disgusting. And for that reason, the later career, when we talk about his later career, I won't be showing any of his music from Daystar to what we have now, particularly because he gets all the money for that. But I will be showing you his earlier works because for contextual reasons, and also because he doesn't get the money for that music, because that label owns that, he doesn't own that. So I'm just letting you know that. Before we begin, it's sponsor time. Whoa! It's been so long that I don't even know how to do sponsor time. Basically, okay. It's been a long time that I've uploaded, and a lot of you are new. I have a sponsor section, which is me just sponsoring myself because I'm desperate. Anyways, I have ways that you can support me and also side things that I do. I make music, and you can support me by listening to it on SoundCloud or Bandcamp in the description below. You can also donate to my Ko-fi or Patreon if you want to support me that way. And my Twitter is where I'm mostly active now, so you can go there for whatever reason. You probably don't want to go on there. No, it's best if you just don't go on my Twitter. Just don't go on it, please, for the love of God. Anyways, if you support me in any kind of way, I will be forever in debt to you. I will go to your wedding. Dude, I will do so many things for you in particular because you are supporting me. It would just be like, my mind would be blown. I don't know what to say other than if you do that, thank you so much. Let's go and get into the video. Daystar is a really dumb name. Shmuel Shua Peterson was born on July 27th, 1992 in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. He had a very troublesome childhood, with his mother dying at a very young age and him being kicked out for his behavioral issues. He got his nickname Lanez because of how he was playing in the streets without paying attention to traffic. Very weird, but whatever. Tory ended up living on his own at 15, and it was a bit of a struggle for him, obviously because he was homeless at that point. This quote being, "I ended up moving downtown with these 3 dudes that I didn't really know. I came into the house and I didn't realize how things worked. From like 15 to 18, I was just fighting them. It was every man for himself. That's what made me a man, having to fend for myself and being in a situation where there is no dad, no grandma, and no mom to help you. It changed the person that I am today." He then dropped out of high school at 16 and started making music. He had no vocal training and basically taught himself how to sing, and his come up was always something that I looked up to. That is the biggest reason why I was such a huge fan of Tory Lanez. It wasn't because of his music, because his music is mid, but it was mainly because of his come up. He went from being homeless to teaching himself how to sing and getting himself out of that situation, and how he went through his career, in which we'll go through later, how he built it up before the situation happened. Once again, truly inspiring, seeing a young black man succeed in life. Let's go and continue. Keep in mind, his troubled childhood doesn't excuse any of his actions whatsoever, but it does show a bigger picture of how someone could just end up like that when they reach fame status especially. Now, in this section, we'll be talking about his issues with other people. Let's just say Tory Lanez is a very problematic person, and before I even talk about what the good things in his career, we might as well get all the shit that he's done out of the way. Now, keep in mind, I'm not going to go into too much depth with every single beef he's had, because he's beefed with every single person in the industry. It's insane how many people he's beefed with. But let's go ahead and just get it on with, get it over with. It's going to take 20 minutes to do this. Starting with Drake. Now this beef got a bit of history. Let's take a deep dive in it, or a shallow dip, because it's really not that deep. It started in 2010 when Tory challenged Drake after rumors of Tory being Drake's little brother, since they're from the same location. It's weird, but okay. For 5 years, Tory had been throwing shots at Drake over and over again until Drake finally responded with subtle disses. And Tory dissed back, and it was kind of just a back and forth continuously. Tory basically wanting the crown that Drake has upheld for his place, and Drake being like, this nigga ain't got shit on me, because let's be honest here, Tory is a copycat of Drake. There's no way Tory would ever be as big as Drake. This beef lasted quite a bit, but they finally kind of just squashed it and kind of built up a bromance out of it, and that's kind of just the end of that. Okay, Jackie. I hope I'm saying that right. Jackie. So Jackie tweeted that he was gonna dominate the scene, but leave Chris Brown alone because that's his idol. That's a very shitty idol to have. Oh my god. That's so romantic. Anyways, Tory responded with emojis, and Jackie just went on this huge ramble and really showed his insecurities out, especially when bringing up a situation during a Revolt interview. Very dumb and short lasting. Like, it doesn't matter. Literally, Jackie was never seen again. You probably don't even remember who Jackie is. But he had like 2 minor hits. Completely is gone now. Next. So, a video from 2016 leaked onto WorldStar of how Tory and Travis getting into some altercation. I'll just show you the clip.
Nigga said I sound like something, my nigga. I said what I said. If you felt the way and you want to handle it the way you want to handle it, that's why we here right now. So I'm saying, what do you want to do, bro? Do you want to do? No. Are we apologizing, or are you want to shoot the fake, my niggas? My understanding is you tweeted. I can't sound like somebody. Now listen. This is the problem. This is the honest truth. The song that you wrote, he asked me 2014 to do a verse for you, bro. To do a hook for him. When you say that.
So he brought it up on the song Hate to Say.
Me and Travis Scott almost fought at the Malaluna. We both agreed shortly after that it was music we possibly could be doing that's bigger than trying to ruin it. So my apologies, nigga, just forgive me for doing it.
So you may be wondering, what was the fight about? Tory copying Travis. You know, because it's not something new. Tory Lanez has always had trouble copying other artists. Funny enough, in the song Hate to Say, he was being called out for copying another song's instrumental and flow, 6 seconds, which I'll play you right now. I'll play you Tory Lanez version and then 6 seconds version, and you can see the fact that Tory easily copied that.
Find it funny how niggas start talking money. I'm living lovely, apartment far from the bungee. I remember us living not too far from the junkies, the flunkies that try to punk me on corners but never sung me, I swear. Yeah. This ain't for nobody but me. Call me selfish. Look, boy, it's funny how 7 days can make a difference. Boy, it's funny how several hate then need assistance. It's funny how niggas will call you brother but lack in communication. You make it, then they complain that you keeping your distance.
And once again, I mean, Tory Lanez has copied from many artists before. You know, once again, this is nothing new, but particularly, it's now good time to bring it up. Sorry, let's move on to the next thing. Apparently, Nicki Minaj was supposed to be on the song Shooters, which was like the lead single off of the album Memories Don't Die. But Tory Lanez messaged her about the verse, apparently saying something that we will never know about, but it made Nicki mad enough to tell him to take her verse off the song. So he also mentioned this on the last song of the album for whatever reason.
I may have fucked it up with Nicki right before this album. My ex.
But that's that. I mean, he says that they are on good terms, but I highly doubt it. Everyone hates Tory Lanez, let's be honest here. So another situation happened from a song from Memories Don't Die, particularly from Hate to Say It Again, which had Tory throwing jabs at Eric Bellinger, in which Eric Bellinger threw a whole diss track back at Tory Lanez. Yeah, that was the end of that. But apparently, Eric didn't mind it at first, but he got triggered at the fact that there were interviews in which Tory would basically disrespect Eric Bellinger with quotes like,
"The only time I've ever had any like working with Eric Bellinger is the time that he had begged me to put this one record out that I had. I didn't want to put it out because it was like a bunch of my scratch vocals, but I guess he just.
Is there any truth to any of that that's going on with that?
What?
With like
Who are you talking about?
With the tag.
What are you talking about?
Eric Bellinger.
Mr. Belgian Waffle?
No,
we are not.
No, Eric Bellinger. We're talking.
Too irrelevant.
All right,
let's
bet.
switch this. Too
Okay.
irrelevant.
All right, bet. All right,
Come
so
on, guys.
So no, I just wanted to know because it's LA,
guys,
West
come
Coast.
on, he's too irrelevant for that.
I'm actually a huge fan of Eric. I'm not gonna lie.
So look,
But okay.
Irrelevant.
But see, I would say the same if someone said it about you.
and yeah, just different shots for no apparent reason. I mean, there might have been something behind the scenes that we don't really know about.
Am I tripping? Or is this nigga Tory Lanez trying to steal my tag? It happened in the past once before. I said something about it, it was brought to my attention that he heard it, and he wasn't happy about it. So the second time, I'm thinking, it's not so coincidental. So what I want to do right now is play y'all a couple songs, see what y'all think about it. Cause I don't know if I'm tripping or if it sound the same or if it don't sound the same, but you know, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. This right here is a top 40 song. I feel like you might have heard this. I see him with 80 million streams. You got Tory right here. And then this one right here just came out.
You know we gotta keep it smooth.
I just think a tag is your identity, you know what I'm saying?
But here's a quote from Eric Bellinger.
Hey, is it just me? Am I tripping, or is Tory Lanez out here trying to take my tag? I could be bugging. Let me play you two songs. Let me play you. No, the thing that everybody do. You feel me? Just to, pose the question. He didn't say nothing back. I figured it was over. That was like last year. So then he dropped his new album, and then he addressed all this beef with Drake and Travis Scott, talking about, it's water under the bridge, but he sparks the new vibe with me. And it's like, okay, nigga, are you cool? Or are you, but everything he said was a specific directive, shot. He did an interview with Genius as well. Everybody knows who I'm talking about.
R&B niggas with Cisco haircuts, wildin', styling, and dissing. Guess they just trying to go viral. I feel them. I'm for sure talking about someone specific, who I'm not gonna give him his full name because this will be the biggest promo he's got thus far. We all know who I'm talking about. Everybody knows this will be the biggest pub of his life. I watched it. I was like, okay.
I saw him with DJ Head too.
And that's the West Coast. You on the West Coast, you know what I mean? And he talking. Of course, somebody gonna ask you about it. So after all these are all the things that I've seen before I even said a word. You know what I mean? It was really like, I'm on my thing, I'm promoting my album, and it just happened to be the timing that you want to, say something to me. So I'm like, all right, cool.
And that's the end of that. Are they still beefing? Who cares? Let's move on to the next one, which is... Okay, so this beef is like... This was one of the weirdest things to happen in the year that it happened in. I don't remember what year it happened in. I think it was like 2017 or something. Either way, this situation, Tory was going after every single person in the industry because he had a big ego. So basically, Tory Lanez said that he is the greatest of all time and challenged a bunch of rappers Most of them didn't say shit back, but the ones that did, you know, we'll get into that in a second, but just note that the rest of the beefs are basically about that. So we'll go ahead and start with the biggest thing to come out of it, which was Joyner Lucas. So after Tory Lanez claimed to be better than a lot of rappers, one of those rappers included Joyner Lucas. And Joyner Lucas was like, nah fam. So they had a bit of a back and forth with diss tracks, remixing different strong instrumentals. And these diss tracks were fucking harsh. But supposedly it was just fun and games in the end. But it's weird because Tory claims victory for some reason. I mean, it's kind of weird that Joyner Lucas was the last one to drop. So wouldn't that make Joyner the Lucas, since you didn't drop anything after that? You kind of just said that you won. I mean, either way, this was one of those controversies that would have Tory be in the favor of it, since it showed him to be very talented, a hungry man, and it gave him a lot of attention, which unfortunately led to an ego boost, which would then lead to a crash to make everyone hating him, basically. Don Q was another rapper that Tory Lanez said that he was better than, which led to him releasing a diss track of his own. He also told Tory that he had 48 hours to respond to it, but he's a pussy. Tory didn't say anything for 48 hours. And then Don Q responded by telling him to suck his dick. That was kind of, oh, wait a second. Tory dropped a diss track back, just calling him irrelevant, like rice scum. And then he also used it as an opportunity to challenge all of Dreamville for some reason, which led to a situation. But before we get into that situation, I might as well talk about the situation with Dax, who is a YouTuber who happened to diss Tory Lanez during this whole process. You know, and Tory Lanez took it as a personal hit to him, and he confronted Dax in the middle of the street to make him apologize for the video.
Apologize, bro. Apologize, bro. Or you know what's going on. Apologize, my nigga. Apologize, nigga.
I got you, bro.
Apologize, nigga.
I got you, man.
Say sorry, nigga.
My bad for the
Say
diss track,
sorry,
G.
nigga.
Sorry, G.
All right, bet.
I got you, G.
Honestly, this was such a really petty and insecure way to just handle this situation. You challenged a bunch of rappers to diss you, and yet when someone does, you take it extremely seriously and then put someone in a dangerous situation by implying that you're going to harm them if you don't do it. You know, why did I defended this guy back then. It's so fucked up. You could have just called him irrelevant, or I don't know, make a diss track like you did with fucking Joyner and Don Q, and then moved on with your life, but you decided not to. And you made yourself look like an insecure asshole, and that's because you are an insecure asshole. But that's not the end of the situation. No, because obviously, you know, you dissed Dreamville. Dreamville, they're gonna come after you, and that's kind of what happened. You know, you talk shit about them. Jade kind of came here, said a bunch of shit, and he instantly backed off. And to be fair, at this point, I think he realized how many bridges he was gonna burn by doing this. You're dissing J. Cole. J. fucking Cole? Are you dumb? He dissed everyone for no reason. You're burning bridges. So many bridges. Literally all of Dreamville clowned on this guy, giving him so many L's. So many. He's biting off more than he could ever chew. It's very entertaining to witness. Very. Misson, it doesn't matter. This is a person who dissed Tory Lanez after the whole of everyone else dissing him. But unlike the Dax situation, Tory didn't respond. He didn't respond at all. Also, another aftermath effect of dissing Don Q was he brought up a rapper named Dream Doll, and she was like, "The fuck?" And she released a diss track of her own towards him. Jesus Christ, so many people do not like this guy. So many. She brought up a lot of personal things in this diss track. Like a lot. She really wanted to embarrass him, and it worked because Tory was extremely silent about this whole situation. You didn't even deny any of these accusations this rapper was throwing at him. You can at least mention the Drake comparison, or I don't know, the threesome shit, but I guess if you ignore it, that means the issue will go away, right? And it just shows how much Tory bites. And wait, it just shows how Tory has such a big bark, but no bite whatsoever. It's a furry thing to say, I'm sorry about that. Anyways, that's not even the end of this. That's not even the complete end. Because months later, he decided to diss Royce 5'9", a rap veteran, because he said that Tory didn't win the beef with Joyner Lucas. Basically saying his career had no W's, or saying that his career has led up to nothing. But like the tweet was deleted, so does it really matter? Royce responded trying to cool down the situation. Tory threw even more hands for no reason, saying that ain't no one scared of Royals 57 lyrically. I deleted my comment because I'm not gonna keep acting like my nigga Joyner didn't do his thing. The old nigga kinda had a point. What I said came off like hating shit. People are allowed to think anybody won. Simple. And Royce was just basically threatening him. And Tory being the Chad, he was like, let's do this shit right now. And then Tory apologized later, after they talked it out. Once again, Tory, just barking, no bite whatsoever. He's a pussy. I mean, I don't blame him. He's 5'3", and I guess the last thing we need to talk about is the situation with Megan Thee Stallion. But before we talk about Megan Thee Stallion, I mean, we should have known that Tory Lanez would have been a shitty person by the people he was collaborating with. I mean, he's got features with all sorts of terrible people, like the rat who likes kids, the other guy who likes kids, the abuser, the nigga who lost against Drake, the plug walk guy that nobody remembers. We should have seen this fallout happen from the very beginning. But before we get into this actual fallout, let's go through his career real quick. So even Tory being the asshole that he is, in the beginning of his career, he made some smart decisions throughout it. Let's go back to the way beginning, in his earlier days where he made his own music videos, to the point where Sean Kingston found him and got him to perform during Justin Bieber's tour, giving him lots of exposure, and he even got signed under his label. He released a bunch of mixtapes under it, developing a strong but small fan base from 2010 to 2015 until he finally made it big with the song Say It, and then got signed under major labels like the Mad Love, Benny Blanco's Interscope label. It granted him a bunch of mainstream success. He was even asked to be on the 2016 XXL freshman list, but he claimed that he was on a higher league than everyone else there. You know, the list, with Denzel Curry, G Herbo, Dave East, Lil Uzi Vert, Anderson .Paak, 21 Savage. Literally everyone there is leagues above Tory Lanez. It's the leagues that he will never see throughout the rest of his life. But I digress, I guess. He releases a bunch of more music that gives him a good amount of success for being the artist of his size. You know, considering that he's small, you know, he's not a big artist. He's pretty tiny. Literally. He created his own label in which he started putting music under after he got out of his last contract with Interscope, which he had mentioned screwed him over in the past. He'd also gained a bit of attention during the whole peak COVID, the summer of it basically, where he did the quarantine radio, which we all know about, or at least a lot of us know about it. It was pretty big on Instagram and whatnot. Now that he is off of his label and able to control his masters, what could be next for this young rising star? Ignoring all the bad reputation he already had at this point, he was gonna see big things. Until the day we all know happened, the reason why you're here. Now we're making it full circle into the situation with Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. But before that incident, they had a bit of a friendship that started over quarantine radio, where Meg tried to get Tory to do some dance, blah blah blah. It does not matter, because on July 12th, 2020, shit changed. Tory got arrested for carrying a concealed weapon, and Megan had injuries on her foot, which at first were seen as an injury from broken glass. And as you can see in the arrest video, her foot was legitimately bleeding from something. Keep that in mind. Then a few days of speculation happened, and we find out she was actually shot in an incident that was intended for her to be hurt in, according to her. The first person that everyone speculated it to be was the person who had a weapon and was arrested for having that weapon. Social media was a bit weird at this point because people made a lot of memes about it, including 50 Cent and Drea Michelle, which were very insensitive. I mean, not the jokes themselves, but the jokes that they made especially were very, very insensitive. Oh my god, just the Dre Michelle thing especially. Holy shit.
I'll take it.
I predict that they had some sort of Bobby and Whitney love that, you know, drove them down this Snapped-esque type of road. And I'm here for it. I like that. I want you to like me so much you shoot me in the foot too. Like,
but as long
what the whoa?
Wait.
And then the misogynistic and transphobic comments in which people were defending Tory and joking at the expense of her pain, and just the experience that black women have to go through all the time. Nothing else about this situation was said until a month later, where Megan finally confirmed. I digress once again. Megan obviously not being happy about this. You know, what the fuck? You know, I can't imagine getting shot and people making memes about it. You know, it's pretty fucked up. You know, the memes that were at the expense of Tory Lanez, that was good. But the expense of Megan herself is pretty fucked up. Nothing else about the situation was said until about a month later, where Megan finally came out about the shooter being Tory, which should have been obvious, but I digress. Not only did Tory shoot her, but he tried to get it covered up, and that the reason why Megan didn't tell the police when they got there is because of, well, if you didn't know already, this was the summer in which the police brutality thing was really being exposed. But we're not gonna get into it in this video because I don't need to. You already know how bad that shit was. So obviously she wasn't gonna trust the police, who were much more dangerous than Tory in that situation. Just know that obviously those probably were the reasons why she never came out about it until now. Tory stayed quiet for a very long time. He didn't even tweet on his birthday. He missed it completely. He kept quiet until September 25th of 2020, where instead of explaining his side of the story with some bit of evidence, he released an album, an hour-long album, in which he basically just said he didn't do it for an hour. No evidence. Just a bunch of bullshit. He was petty throughout the whole album. Song called Bittersweet, this, that, is so petty. The titles of the songs were petty. That just shows you how bad this album was already. You didn't even need to listen to it. Just look at the titles. The thing that really pissed me off was the fact that he was using the fact that he was black as a way to deflect all of the blame. You see, he tried to say that the white man didn't want him to succeed as a black person, so they made up this situation. What? That doesn't make any fucking sense, but whatever. He also released this on the day of the indictment of Breonna Taylor and used that as a way to back himself up. He pulled an R. Kelly by saying, oh, how could I do such a thing? You know? It was such a shitty album. It was so bad. He's a piece of human garbage for milking the situation for his own gains. At this point, he got blacklisted from every single major source. Nobody, you know, it's just, people knew about it because of the situation itself. You know, even though everyone didn't like this man, he still made 40K units in its first week. Which may seem like a flop until you realize that he owns his masters now. He gets all of the money that this album made. And it's so blatant how oblivious he is, to the point where he keeps saying it's haters, when it's actually just you. The haters have nothing to do with it. Oh, the haters and critics just want me to lose. No, you need to go to jail, or at the very least, deported. The fact that you haven't been deported yet is beyond me at this point. Like, what? Like, it obviously shows this album as such a hypocritical thing to release, because he keeps claiming that he's getting fucked over by the industry when the industry is protecting him. And Tory basically hinted at her not even being shot in the first place when she literally posted the image of her goddamn wound so that shit wouldn't even happen in the first place, and yet people still deny the fact that she was being shot. For what reason are you defending this man? He has shown that he is the type of person to do something like this, and the fact that this is being put under the rug really shows that there is an underlying issue with black women in this society and how they are treated and not taken seriously whatsoever. But that's a whole nother video. You don't want to have that conversation. Instead, you want to throw trans slurs because Megan happens to be taller than all you small niggas. Like, why? This whole situation has me so pissed off at the fact that people are defending him. And for what? His shitty mid-tier music and an ego the size of Jupiter? The fact that he lied about his height should show you how much of a clown he is. His career right now, it's not as bad as it should be right now. Obviously, no one is listening to his new shit. His new shit is flopping. His recent project released in December, nobody even knew about its existence because he's irrelevant. The thing about it is, like, he's set for the rest of his life. His monthly listeners are still high because of the music he's released before. The fact, if you have 1 or 2 hits that are major, you're set for life at that point. So, in the end, I guess it doesn't really matter whether or not I make this video. Obviously, none of it really does matter. I'm just showing you that Tory Lanez is a really fucked up person, and that this whole situation, it probably was him who did it, you know? I showed you how easy it is for him to just do shit without him thinking and him regretting it later. Like, once again, the Daystar album, he talks about it. Fucking talks about how much he regrets that night. I'm pretty sure he did. I'm not going to listen to the album again. This is just from what I listened to the first time. And that's the end of that. Tory Lanez just doing his thing, getting away with basically everything. I mean, his career's in the trash, his reputation's in the trash, but he's basically set for life. He has a label in which he can milk the people who are on it. He's basically fine. Leo, chill. See, even my dog is mad. My dog is mad at you, Tory Lanez. Look what you did, you little piece of shit. Leo, stop. So, obviously, the people are still shitting on Tory Lanez. I mean, have you seen the memes? The ball memes, basically? He's still gonna be clowned on and whatnot, but it's just the fact that people are out there defending this man. This pisses me off. And the fact that even he keeps denying it for whatever reason, knowing that he did do it, saying, aha, I know the truth because I know I didn't do it. When it's like, yeah, you did. He's obviously lying and whatnot, but I should have just said allegedly throughout this whole video, because now he's gonna come after my ass. I mean, he's not gonna see this video. It'd be really funny if he did, but I highly doubt he will. That's all I really have to say for this video. I'm glad I've came back to YouTube to create videos where I complain about things for 30 minutes to an hour, but yeah, whatever. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm just so flabbergasted from the process of making this, but I hope you enjoyed. In conclusion, Tory is short,